You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I want to bring in Congressman Bobby Rush into this because he has said that, look, this is a lynching. This is a lynching. That's what you're dealing with right here. And Congressman Bobby Rush, are you there?
I'm here.
Here, Congressman, here's what jumps out. First of all, the third man who's yet to be arrested, we know that he was assisting them in the pursuit. Based upon previous information, that they actually chased him. They blocked him in. So what happened was Arbery then ran in the other direction. They sped in front of him, waited for him. So this guy was a participant in blocking him in. He was a participant in what led to Arbery's death.
Right, absolutely. And it's clear to me and to everybody else that has eyes to see that this was indeed the latest example of a lynching here in America, KKKA, America. This was nothing but a lynching clear on its face, and it's about time that we pass a federal law against lynching, which does not exist at this time. We passed my bill, the Immaterial Anti-Lynching Act. We passed it out of the House of Representatives, and it's sitting in the Senate. And because there's one senator there who will not allow this bill to be voted on, be brought to the floor.
Okay, so now help me out, because the House bill passed. Well, didn't the Senate bill pass last year?
Overwhelmingly, unanimously.
But did the Senate bill pass last year?
No, the Senate bill did not pass last year. No, it's just the House bill. And it's sitting in the Senate right now. If the Senate passed, then it'll go to the president's desk to be signed into law. So as we today, the Arbery is not, his death is not considered a federal crime under any anti-lynching. And this was clearly, you know as well as I, this was clearly a lynching. Nothing else but a lynching. And it's about time that this nation, that the citizens of this nation, African Americans and others, are protected from lynching here in America.
I want to go to Scott Bolden. Scotty, do you believe, Scott, that looking at what happened here, would you, and people have used that phrase, that this was indeed a modern day lynching. Would you agree?
Based on the video, yes. What always scares me about these cases is what the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has that we do not know about. Because this gentleman was just jogging. We don't know what happened before or after. But based on the video, these were some good old boys out on a hunt. And they just didn't have a tree. They didn't have a rope, but they had shotguns. It's interesting, too, that unlike many of us, the victim here ran towards the shooter and struggled with him over the gun. My gut is that he was blocked in, as you said, still didn't have a way out and had no choice. He was either going to fight or flight, and they gave him no choice but to start to fight. But think about this comparative. Even the police could not have legally done this under color of law. Under Tennessee v. Garner, which is a Supreme Court case, it is illegal for the police to shoot nonviolent fleeing felons, even if they haven't made an arrest yet. This was a nonviolent individual running, jogging. He had no burglar tools on him. He had no assets that could have been taken. The house he allegedly was in, at worst, he was a trespasser, not a burglar, because they didn't take anything because the house was under construction. and the defense or the defendants say he looked like a suspect. There was only one burglary in 60 days in that neighborhood. And did they see him before? There are a lot of open questions here for the defense to have to connect the dots. But the prosecution has to be methodical. They got to be fair. And they have to go about this in a workmanlike manner, because they've got to take away the noise and just prosecute the case like it's any other case, even though it's going to be extraordinary for the rest of America to look at and watch.
And if he had been white, he would not have been killed. He was killed because he was a black man in America, and the old sport, the centuries-old sport of lynching black men in America is still alive today.
Yo, D, go ahead.
I mean, Roland, they went and got guns. They didn't just
let me just first say that if
guns.
This was an officer instead of just ordinary citizens, this would be an illegal stop, an illegal arrest, an illegal killing. Bottom line.
Exactly.
But with regards to the prosecution, when Scott was talking about them being methodical, they need a special prosecutor in this case. They need somebody who has fresh eyes, who's not coming from that Glenn County DA's office, because we're on the third prosecutor here. So that it's really important, especially for the family. If I were the family, I would not feel comfortable in handing this case over to any prosecutors coming from that office. That's my second point. And third, someone close to the case informed me that there should be a New York Times article that's going to be coming out with regards to information regarding Gregory McMichael, who used to be he essentially investigated a probation violation by Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, actually, the information has already come out that that was this previous relationship, and that McMichael says, "Oh, I recognize him."
Right. So that essentially is going to be adding to the motive for the part of the prosecution. It's actually going to weaken the defense's argument that, he didn't know him. If he had some familiarity with him and he felt like he was a menace, then that was almost every reason for him to go and hunt him down, because he thought that he was committing a crime.
Robert,
so that's going to weaken the defense's argument.
Robert, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, they say that two Glenn County commissioners, they are blasting the initial DA, saying she refused. She refused to arrest them. Now, this is the same DA, though, who had no problem prosecuting a black woman for voter fraud. But she refused to arrest two white guys who shot and killed this black man. Robert, speak to that, and also, what are the rules in Georgia when it comes to special prosecutors?
Any Superior Court judge can demand that a special prosecutor be appointed. And I think beyond simply the appointment of a special prosecutor to prosecute the case in that jurisdiction, that the case should be removed to another area of the state. I would recommend DeKalb County with Sherry Boston as district attorney, one of the best DA's offices in the state, to prosecute the case, because then that way you get away from the local biases. You get away from the local media cycle. You can get a jury pool that is not from that same community. You can look at this with a fresh set of eyes and look at the evidence in an unbiased manner. And back to the evidentiary points that Scott brought up. Let's understand, these people have had 2 months to erase cell phone records. They've had 2 months to clear their internet search history. They've had 2 months to coordinate with their neighbors and other individuals to create a story. And remember, this Mr. McMichael, the elder, is a previous informant or a previous investigator for the prosecutor's office. So they know exactly how the system works. They know exactly what information they need to have, what they need to get rid of, what they need to say in order to create a self-defense argument going forward. And this is why those officers who made the initial stop, who responded to the initial call, should have made the arrest at that moment. They could have preserved the evidence then. They could have taken witness statements at that point. It should have never got to the point of the prosecutor having to determine whether or not to arrest these individuals. Those officers who responded took the law into their own hands and basically nullified the work of a judge or a jury, and made themselves the final arbiter of guilt or innocence innocence in the case.
I'm going to read this here for Congressman Bobby Rush. Quote, this is from the Land Journal-Constitution. Anthony, go to my iPad. The police at the scene went to her, that is DA Janice Johnson, saying they were ready to arrest both of them. These were the police at the scene who had done the investigation. This is according to Commissioner Alan Booker in an interview with the Land Journal-Constitution, saying he talked with those cops. Quote, she shut them down to protect her friend McMichael. Later in the story, a second commissioner, Peter Murphy, also said he spoke directly to Glenn County Police about the incident, said officers at the scene concluded they had probable cause to make arrests and contacted Johnson's office to inform the prosecutor of their decision. Quote, Congressman, they were told not to make the arrest.
And
Those officers have to testify.
One second. Congressman Bobby Rush, I'm going to go to you then.
as you were reciting those facts, my mind went back to Emmett Till and how he was lynched, how he was brutally murdered back in 1955. I tell you, what has changed? What has changed? It was the lynching then, same flimsy evidence, same co-conspiracy among the law enforcement agencies, black man, young black man, dead. It was nothing but a lynching, and we need a federal law against lynching in America. We can give Ida B. Wells all the Pulitzer Prize that there is, but she spent her life fighting lynching, and lynching is still as prevalent today as it was back then. So when are we going to ever get mad enough, get angry enough to demand that the Senate pass the Emmett Till anti-lynching law, pass it so that we can send it to Trump? Trump has already said that if it passes the Senate, then he's inclined to sign it.
Congressman Bobby Rush of Illinois, we certainly appreciate it, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm going to go back to Yodit here. Yodit, you were making a point. Go ahead.
So when you were reading that, I was infuriated. I'm sorry I jumped in there. But this is precisely why a special prosecutor needs to be appointed. Think about these officers who are most certainly going to testify. If this case gets to trial, prosecutors call police officers who respond to the scene, who take the reports, who go to the DA's office and submits said reports. They are going to have to testify, and they're going to have to tell the jury exactly what they encountered with that first prosecutor from the Glenn County DA's office. They can't possibly have a prosecutor prosecuting this case from the same office.
Right.
So
Roland,
especially appointed, and those officers are going to have to tell the jury what that DA, that first one, did.
And just so y'all know, I just read for you 2 Glenn County commissioners. Anthony, go to my iPad. This is Commissioner Booker. This photo right here, this is Commissioner Alan Booker of District 5. The other, Peter Murphy, he's white. This commissioner has said that those local cops wanted to arrest these 2, but the DA told them no. Bottom line here, Scott, Robert, and Yodit, what we are seeing here is no doubt the first DA trying to protect and cover up. The second DA trying to protect and give them a legal out the same way Bill Barr trying to give Mike Flynn a legal out. The third DA tried to sit on this, and it was only because that video got leaked. Well, guess what? The whole cover-up got blown up because they couldn't deny it any longer.
Yep, no doubt about it. And let me tell you something, and another thing contingent to, in congruence with that is this. Do you know how unusual it is for a prosecutor to tell the police not to make an arrest in a homicide? In most jurisdictions, or a lot of jurisdictions, for instance, New York, and I don't know about Georgia, only the DA in that county can authorize an arrest for a homicide. You have the police on the scene. They've done their investigation. They called her to authorize an arrest. Normally, there's a homicide DA or assistant district attorney on the scene working with the police to determine whether an arrest should be made. I don't know whether they had one on the scene or not, but she wasn't even on the scene, Roland. She's only going by what she was told, and they told her, we're going to make an arrest. And she blocked it, completely uninformed and ignorant of what they had come across, or she wasn't even on the scene.
Robert,
that's just awful.
Robert,
that's awful.
Well, I think it's a little bit charitable to say ignorant. I think she knew exactly what was going on the scene, and that's why the decision was made. And this is why it's so crucial to reform our criminal justice system, because let's understand, if that video did not exist, none of this would be going on right now. Most cases like this, where you have individuals who suffer this sort of fate, there is no video there. So we need to find a way to create a criminal justice system where if a black man simply says something, it holds some credibility. It is not simply written off as another black criminal being killed. We have to have humanity, and we have to have empathy, and we have to understand
so I leave after this?
That we can't simply have video as the only arbiter of truth.
Yodi?
I'm just glad this video came out, and it's the irony of it being released by an attorney who obviously spoke with the third individual who's still being investigated is the icing on the cake. But I'm so glad that it did come out. Like I said, it is imperative that a special prosecutor look at this. That office is tainted, and from what I know, and I don't practice in Georgia, but a lot of the attorneys that I do know do, and they have told me that that county has been riddled with corruption, judges, lawyers, prosecutors. So they have a reputation, and there is no way that this family is going to get justice if a prosecutor from that office takes the lead on this case.
Well, we certainly will see what happens with that. In the next hour, we will talk with the father of Ahmaud Arbery, as well as attorney Ben Crump. And so we certainly thank the three of you. So Scott, Robert, Yodi, thanks very much.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
All right, folks. So guys, go to my iPad, please. If you go to the hashtag #RunWithMaud, people all over social media were posting videos and photos of them today running with Maud. You see the hashtag #RunWithMaud, and folks were again either running indoors, some were running outdoors. All up today a matter of showing their respect in alignment with the family as a result of what took place. The family said, as you heard yesterday, the mother who's on our show, she talked about how he loved to run, he loved to jog, was a high school football player, and so this is what folks were doing. What I want to sit here and do, Omari Harwick was one of the folks who actually posted a video tied to this. Guys, go ahead and play this.
Unarmed Arbery. It's for you, bro. Young, beautiful. Black boy wonder. I was trying to be dutiful. Add to your journey a little bit of my thunder. What God has made, even the most racist cannot drive us under. You are still alive to me, you beautiful young brother. Woo! I did 10 miles for you, baby. For your mama. For your siblings, cousins, father, grandfather, grandmother, aunts, uncles, mentors, and any other. This is O. Eternally your brother. Peace.
Every single night. We've got some of the top black experts. You're not going to see them on cable news or broadcast news because you swear black people aren't experts when it comes to this health crisis. That's why we have this show and why we do what we do every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Joining us right now is retired General Russell Arbery, the nation's first black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders. John Hope Bryant, he is the founder of Operation Hope. Senator Kamala Harris of California, Dr. Cedrina Calder, retired General Lloyd Austin, Congresswoman Karen Bass, Commissioner Omari Hardick, Bureau President in Brooklyn, Eric Adams, Dr. Joseph Graves, America's Wealth Coach Deborah Owens, Dr. Corey Abear, Patel Saul, Howard University student, Pastor Jamal Bryant, Dr. Christy McDowell, Benja Ajilore, senior economist at the Center for American Progress, Gilda Daniels, again, author of the book, The Crisis of Voter Suppression in America. 4 stars, General Kip Ward, Dr. Oliver Brooks is president of the National Medical Association, president of the American Medical Association, Dr. Patrice Harris, Joby Benjamin, Dr. Alexia Gaffney, infectious disease specialist, Dr. Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association, Malcolm Nance, family medicine physician, Dr. Jen Caudle, Dr. Tashaka Cunningham, a molecular biologist, Kat Stafford. She's a national race and ethnicity reporter for the Associated Press. Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, who is the president of Howard University, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke from the state of New York, William Spriggs, AFL-CIO economist, Andrea James, executive director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. All right, let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Eddie British Johnson of Texas, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, mental health clinician Jamie Singletary, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy, as well as Dylan Hayrie, ACLU Justice Division strategist. Dr. Cindy Duke, she is a virologist. Principal Steve Perry of Capitol Prep. Health and wellness specialist Dr. Yolandra Hancock, Desmond Meade, president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, Cliff Albright, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter, Michael Harriet with The Root, Mina McWhorter, founder of Love by the Hand, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president, Emerita Bennett College, coroner Michael Fowler, is a mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, mental health therapist Suzette Clark, Justin Gibney, attorney and political strategist, and Bishop Vincent Matthews Jr., Dr. Suzette McKinney, CEO and executive director of the Illinois Medical District, Dr. Leon McDougall, president-elect of the National Medical Association, Jana Bailey, Mayor of Moss Point, Mississippi, Mario King. We're going to keep driving this thing to make sure our people are fully aware, safe, protected from coronavirus. You're getting the top medical experts, the top business experts, top political experts, top religious experts, because that's why we do what we do. Unapologetically and unfiltered. Ain't nobody else in the black media space doing what we do. Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.